What's up, guys? It's Coach Grant with First Down Training. And today we're going to be breaking down one thing that all high school wide receivers need to improve on to become a better overall wide receiver. So I hope this video helps you guys out. I hope it teaches you a few new things to become a better route runner. But also, fellas, if you're a wide receiver and you're maybe not sure what you should do on a day-to-day basis to improve your route running skills, your press releases, your catching ability, the works, check out that very first link in the description below for our 4-week-long wide receiver on-field workout plan. What you'll get access to is over 100 plus wide receiver drills broken down with sets, reps, and an exact day-to-day schedule with a video example of each drill. So check out that very first link below if interested, fellas. Let's get started with this video. So this first route here is from Metcalf. Now, this route is a great example for what you guys kind of want to try to avoid at the top of the route. Now, obviously, Metcalf is a great wide receiver, but, you know, in the past, a lot of people have said that he's struggled with his route running, making cuts, etc., right? He has gotten loads better. But at the top of the break, there's one thing that we need to focus on anytime that I have to drop my hips, and that is being able to get low so I can make a sharp cut and decelerate while running full speed. So that's a lot easier said than done. And for taller guys, freak athletes like Metcalf, it's a lot harder to do this. But this is a good example because there are receivers at every single level, no matter what height they are, who have this exact same type of problem. So on every single route, right, he's running this like kind of stop route where he's putting the brakes on, right? On every single route, we need to be selling what? Selling fade. So what comes down to selling fade is you have to actually be running hard. You have to be running in full stride, and you got to have good body language. Now, those three things are what make the DB think that you're going deep. That's what gets him into a full speed run. And then if I can change direction on a dime and make that violent change of direction quickly, that can get me separation. That's the name of the game. That is the name of the wide receiver position. But on these first two examples, there are two key mistakes that guys will make on the break point that will lead to less separation. And then we're going to show a good example towards the end. So when Metcalf decides to make this break, when you guys have a lot of speed into a route, but you don't drop your hips to change direction, you just kind of step hard trying to snap down, you are going to drift at the break point. Now, the drift is understandable, and there's going to be a little bit of a drift. You're not going to be able to just plant and stop right on a specific yard line, but the thing is, DBs will work on their recovery speed and being able to react to that hip drop. They say when your hips drop, speaking as a receiver, when the receiver's hips drop, our hips drop, and we break on this thing. So when we try to drop as a wide receiver, but I don't get low enough, and I have that much speed leading into the break, that causes a big drift. And you see how he drifts up almost about like 3 to 4 yards. But when he drifts, what does that do? That allows him to drift into this DB and let him be in a good position to make a play on the ball. Now, again, granted, this ball was still caught. That ball was thrown in a perfect spot. But I don't want to be in a situation where that DB is all over my hip. I want to be able to create separation so I can catch the ball and go make something happen after the catch. And that comes down to your separation. But fellas, now here's the thing. Now, a lot of people will say, well, oh, coach, I don't have to drop that low and I could get in and out of my breaks. If you're not running hard, it's very easy to make a cut. You could probably cut off a one step on a route like this if you're not running full speed. But we know going into a break, I need control. I don't want to be out of control, but I need to be running full speed because that is what will get the DB to open up. And if I can make that change of direction while getting low, being able to stop on a dime, that will get me more space from the DB. But you cut and you're up high, that's going to drift you into coverage. Let's play this thing again, full speed one more time, and then we will show another example of something that you maybe want to avoid with a high school wide receiver. So this route went kind of viral. This is from Innis out of Broward County. Now, if you guys follow this page, you know that I'm a huge guy, Innis guy. I think he's very, very elite. I think he's a great route runner. I think he's incredibly explosive. But this type of break, he kind of drifts on it. And this is the other reason that wide receivers will drift on the break, because they do the opposite extreme. They try to get too low with their upper body, and it causes them to drift and almost fall forward. So let's play this full speed. So he ends up breaking on this like post-out route, but when he breaks, you see how he drifts, and he ends up almost like to this back end zone line. He may have even actually stepped out of bounds at one point. I think he stays in, but still, we should not be making this break here like halfway mark and then drifting 5 yards upfield. Now, the reason why he drifts 5 yards upfield right here is because when he snaps down, whether that's maybe because the DB gets hands on him or not, but when you have speed going into a break, and when you break and your chin goes past your feet and you're leaning forward with the upper half, essentially bending at the waist, that will cause you to be off balance as well. You got to understand, fellas, the off balance, like the breaks where guys slip, the breaks where guys maybe even almost hurt themselves, is usually because you are not dropping at your hips. You are either bending at your waist or just not dropping low enough. So those are the two extremes of it. Either I get into a break and maybe my chest is really high, but I'm not even dropping my butt down, so I'm going to drift. Or I'm trying to drop down. I'm trying to change levels with my weight, but I bend at the waist. I hinge at the waist instead of hinging at the hips. And when that happens and you essentially fall forward on this thing and you're leaning forward, that's going to cause a drift off of this route to where you're not going to be able to create a ton of space. Now, again, I know the DB getting hands on him probably kind of gave that extra momentum, but if we drop into a low position at my hips, the hand that he puts on me will not screw up the route because I'm in a balanced position. Fellas, the level change with your hips is the spot that we are trying to get to. So let's play this full speed, and then I'm going to show a good example of what you would want to do to become a better route runner when it comes to snapping down on those breaks and not drifting to be off balance. Okay, so now this last clip here is from Deontay Johnson. Now, when he makes this break, it's going to be a stop route, and he does the perfect type of break. He's dropping at his hips. His upper body is not straight up in the air. He is bringing his chin right to his knee. So let's play this thing full speed, and then we will break it down. So he's running the same type of route that Metcalf is running. Now, again, I know Johnson's a lot smaller, probably a little bit quicker, quicker twitched, I guess, maybe not straightaway speed faster than Metcalf. But I want you to pay attention to the differences on this. When he snaps down on this break, watch how low he gets. You see how it's almost like he's got a perfect 90 degree with his lower half. That is where you want to try to get as a receiver, fellas. When I'm breaking down on a 5-yard hitch, a 15-yard comeback, a 12-yard dig where maybe I have to snap down, that is the position that we want to get to. Parallel or slightly below parallel. But he is not bending at the waist. His chin is not past his knee. He is bringing his chin to his knee. That is the position that we are trying to get to, because this is how you guys can decelerate while running full speed. So any kind of drill work that you guys do, any kind of route running work that you do, you should always try to film it to see if you're at this specific position. Because again, whether you're a tall wide receiver, short wide receiver, quick, slow, whatever, you can still get to this spot. Now, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like you might be able to just go run out and first time you do this, we'll get to this spot. There are some things that have to happen. A lot of wide receivers are so stiff at their hips that they physically can't get to this spot. They don't stretch. They, maybe aren't getting into a squat rack that often. They're not doing hip mobility stuff. You need to do those things to set yourself up for these types of breaks. Now, a lot of guys maybe don't have the strength to do this because it requires a good amount of leg strength, ankle stability, knee stability to be able to run full speed and drop your hips on a dime like this. We could talk about getting to this position all we want, but if you don't have the strength that is required to this, naturally, you probably will start to slow down before the break point because you don't have that force, you're not able to withstand that force on that leg. So you have to make sure you're doing the right things. A lot of single leg exercises in the gym, a lot of one-legged jumping exercises, just anything that's going to help you absorb force, and other exercises that will help with that hip mobility to build this specific spot. Because if you know the mechanics and you are doing the correct things to build on those mechanics, you will be a good route runner, fellas. It just comes down to what you are doing, what you know how to do. Are you being fed the right information? And are you doing the things correctly to build this? Receivers shouldn't be in the gym doing curls and shoulder press. They should be doing things that are helping them out on the field. I get it if you got to gain weight, you got to put on size somehow. You should be doing those bodybuilding type lifts. But in the gym, on the field, you're doing things to help with wide receiver specific performance. That is the key to make this type of cut. Let's play this thing again, full speed one more time. Great job by Johnson showcasing how we should be able to get into a break, how you want to drop at your hips, not hinge at the waist, and bring that chin to your knee. All right, fellas, really want to thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. If you guys have any questions at all, don't hesitate to leave those in the comment section below. Always appreciate the feedback. Always great to hear from you guys. And again, fellas, if you would like our 4-week wide receiver on-field workout schedule, check out that very first link in the description below. Over 100+ drills, daily schedule mapped out with sets and reps. So check out that link below, fellas. See you guys next time.